What's up, YouTube? YouTube. All right. The question on the floor posed by YouTube user LyricsOfDust. Personally, I think one of the best YouTube channel names I've ever come across. I know I say that every time, but in case anybody forgets, LyricsOfDust is really cool. Really cool YouTube channel name. Maybe one day if I totally run out of stuff to do on here, then I'll compile a list of what I think are the coolest channel names. um, anyway, the question on the floor is, how do we stay motivated? The example that Lyrics used was he had just finished cleaning the house, and the way that it was explained was that his motivation was almost like he it was almost a compulsion type situation where it was almost random, and he was curious about our thoughts of what we do to maintain motivation. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about quite a few things and going back over quite a few things. And if at any time you hear something on here that you've said or something that you've read and you know the source of, yes, absolutely. A lot of the things that I'm going to talk about here I've taken from others. Wisdom, solutions, knowledge, a lot. most everything to do with my life. Even the things that I come up with on myself, on my own, they're a combination of two ideas that I'll mesh and then apply to what I want to accomplish. So if you hear something that makes you say, "Oh, that SOB got that from me," yes, I got it from you. If you're so compelled, put it down in the comments below. Say, "Yeah, man, that's where the dog got it from. Me, son." And then what I'll do is I'll go down there on your little comment, all right? And then I'll reply with, "Actually, you got it from this other source, who got it from that other source, who got it from motherfucking Aristotle. So, whatever." All right, Lyrics. Here's what we're going to do. I need to lay down a couple of baseline principles first that I would like you to ponder and accept, and then from those principles on, we'll be able to move on. And for me, this is what works for me. This is essential, and I believe I am qualified to speak on the topic of motivation because in my situation, I have a very physical job. I have family obligations. I have financial obligations. So it is critical for me to continue to produce, regardless of how I feel about it. And so it is something that I have to deal with and I have to measure up to every day. As a matter of fact, this very morning that I'm making this video, part of this video's function is preparing myself for the day that I'm about to have. Because I wake up in the morning and I set about my tasks. They're not always financial goals, and they're not always like what Shafe does, where Shafe Studios LLC, if you remember his video, he says that one of his main goals is to make his kids smile during the day. That is a noble task. Abso-freaking-lutely. Wow, that's good shit. There is an aspect to motivation that is having to do with momentum. Corey C made a video about momentum. Hopefully you caught that. It's pretty good. And that when you begin enjoying success, Okay, and now let's go to the baseline definition of success. And success is accomplishing a worthy task that you have set about doing. It isn't necessarily financial. It could be just like Shafe making his kids smile. He achieved that goal and then he moved on. Uh, Motivation builds from success on top of success. It's a snowball effect, and it's great when you're enjoying success. It's great to feel successful, uh, because as you begin to accomplish those tasks, your confidence as you set about the next task becomes that much easier, if I'm making sense. Because you have evidence in your mind that, okay, if I set about doing something, it's going to happen. So, so as you're conducting your life, you have that evidence on board of, yes, these things can happen. Now, it's important, of course, for me to talk about setbacks. Um, Setbacks in life happen. Um, they certainly happen for me. I'm no different than anyone else. I'm not exempt from these things. And there are things that have happened so close to me that I wasn't sure how I could possibly get through it. And and it sounds trite and cliche, but you do it day by day and you get back on. And whenever something hits you in life, um, a loss in the family, realizing somebody that you love has a chemical dependency problem, um, it's one of those situations that brings you back to zero again. And it's hard. It's hard to get off that X, to get off that zero, and start moving and accomplishing, especially when those hits bring you to a negative point, okay, where instead of being plus one, plus two, plus three on the success, um, the failures and the setbacks are like minus one, minus two, minus three, and you start feeling the momentum of the failure pushing against you. That resistance that the Ultimate Warrior on his channel talks about. And there's no easy way around it. You dig your heels in and you move forward. And you set your goals and you set about accomplishing them. When you wake up in the morning, everything you do has a purpose and a reason for doing it. You live your life on purpose. For example, when you were talking about when you were going to go talk to those people about a job, and you decided to return home and apply for it online because of the situation. That's fine. Just recognize that that specifically, okay, I elected to do that, and here's the reason, and that's all there is to it. Uh, it's not something that I think you should beat yourself up. I don't even know if you are. Um, but now here's the reason why all this is important. There is there is an amount of provision, okay, that an individual needs. You need a certain amount of food, you need a certain amount of shelter, you need a certain amount of physical care. Everyone does. Now, Lyrics, you and I are blessed to live in one of the richest nations that has ever existed upon the face of the earth. A nation so wealthy that only one person out of five needs to work to provide for five people on average, okay? And that's even on the low end. One person can go to work and support a household of five. If you're willing to, if all you're concerned with is the basic foods, the basic health cares, um, it's a 1 to 5 ratio because the wealth is so high. But what needs to be recognized in that is that your existence does require that provision. um, your children, your offspring, require that provision as well. Who is taking on that load? Okay, how is that provision acquired? Um, we talk about money in a metaphysical way, like it's some sort of an evil task or whatever. There are some of us that it isn't a matter of money being used and it's evil and it's what we want to use to do our private jets or our leisure time or whatever, okay? Money is the utility that I gather to convert my time on a task towards the provision of myself, the provision of my family. To hear people say, "Oh, money's evil," that's a joke to me. Money is my tool. It is my tool. It is how I can take my labor. It is how I can take my time and I can store it to where I can use it for another day. And that value varies. It varies on what type of a deal I can negotiate. It varies on what type of deal can be negotiated and a purpose, if you're still with me here. And you go on. But wow, what a what an amazing country this is. It really is. Now, I was recently reminded from a video that I watched. Uh, it was How to Be a Success by a Billionaire, and Aileron Trading linked it because he commented on it, and I like to stalk his feed. and and then I actually shared it with Corey C, which I thought it was like a joke to myself that I would share something with Corey C that Dan from Aileron Trading liked, just to see how Corey C would react, because those two don't like each other, and I thought it'd be interesting. Um, I didn't tell Corey that until just now. That's what you get, fag. Give me a minute. So, anyway, in that millionaire or billionaire video, the narrator talks about how in America, and I think he talks about it on a larger scale, okay? How there's almost a plateau of achievement that our economy has, where everything's slowed down to where you almost cannot fail. That baseline provision I was telling you about. Like it's easy as pie. You could go down to McDonald's, okay? You could go down to McDonald's, get a job, uh, make only enough money to where you could qualify for certain types of social assistance. You could qualify for shelter, healthcare. You'd have a task, so you'd feel that you were doing something. People shop at McDonald's, so you really are doing something. I think I've worked at McDonald's, and and I shop at McDonald's. I buy food at McDonald's. You can ask anybody that's talked to me on the phone. It's the weirdest thing. I'll be talking to somebody on the phone, and they'll usually hear me ordering fast food. Um, I There is value to that job, okay? And me personally, and I've talked to Corey C and a couple of my coworkers, our particular jobs, um, where we are, these people that I've talked to, we either have more money or we currently make more money than what we would make at McDonald's. However, if I didn't have anything else to do and I needed money, or if I wanted money, I would do that job today. If I got fired and couldn't get anything else, and all they offered me was, say, $7 an hour or whatever the heck the wage is from there, I would do it before I took money from anybody. Um, I, you may call it pride, but I don't, I wouldn't take a handout from my folks unless when it got close, when we were having financial troubles, um, it got very, very close, and it was a matter of, what do we need to do to keep the house? And, we had the wife and I had just had a baby at that time, so she was brand new. A hurricane had just gone through, so work was low. The economy was getting ready to head into the toilet, so the work was low anyway. And my mortgage payment coming in the month just doubled, and our budget was already maxed out. So it was like, okay, at that point, yeah. But bear in mind the way that we were, bud. The wife was already working, I was already working, and it was only at that point that I would even talk to my folks about taking a handout for that purpose. Now they've given us gifts in the past, and they've been welcome. My parents are very generous people, and they worked very, very hard uh, for the privilege of being able to live their lives in a generous fashion. And and it's been nice, and I had appreciated their time, and all the while I bear respect towards my dad and the time that he spent at work. And I bear respect for myself and the time that I spend at work. And together, we have respect for each other in our pursuit of those successes. Okay, there's respect for our time, and there's respect for our goals and what we try to accomplish. And it's not automatic. We don't automatically get that. We specifically set our sights on those successes. Okay, and it's hard. It really is hard. Um, Now, Lyrics, you had a video where you asked about it being a game. Is it all a game for you millionaire types? Now, I don't have that type of net worth. It was just recently, believe it or not, that we just finally, the wife and I, and this is really a cool thing for those of you who are aware of it, the wife and I just recently, our net worth has finally shifted positive, which is an amazing, wonderful thing. If you think about it, when you're talking about you got a note out on the house, you got a note out on two cars. You got to think about it, man. We got two brand new Chevys in the driveway and a mortgage from 2004. So our net worth has to overcome all of that liability, and it's only recently that we've just shifted positive. Um, does that have to do with, do we have money or whatever? It's an interesting subject for another time. The point here is motivation. And what motivates me isn't that shiny Chevrolet in the driveway. Okay? When I got my Silverado in 2009, I had been driving a 1995 Ford Taurus for 8 years, paid off. The wife was still driving a 1998 Mercury Tracer, paid off for 10 years. When we bought the Silverado, it was the first thing we bought after the wife got out of RN training, registered nurse training. Everybody was like, "Oh wow, congratulations on your purchase, and congratulations this and this and that and the other thing." The only person who didn't say congratulations was my dad, because he knew something that I knew when we got that thing. Now, come to think of it, when we got our mortgage for the house, everybody was like, "Congratulations," but I didn't feel it. I didn't feel, for me, it wasn't like a celebration, because I had been there every step of the way. It was a fight every step of the way. I hadn't hit the lottery, okay? In the case of the truck, I drove a shitbox car for 8 years while the wife and I were going through school. And when I say we were going through school, I mean, yes, she was the one who attended those classes, but it was on my end to keep the house, to keep my job going, bring the kid to the doctor when it got sick, or if I couldn't because I had to work, she would do it and fill in those gaps. Um, Man, we just kept it going. I mean, we had our setbacks. We really, really had our setbacks. Um, you could, some of the thoughts and emotions that I had during that struggle, um, that it was tough. It was really, really tough. And I wanted to stop sometimes. I wanted to quit because I thought for sure I couldn't possibly take any more. I couldn't possibly go to work when I was so tired, you know? But I did. And, here we are. But, today's going to have its own challenges. Today's going to have its own setbacks. And I was reminded of that actually yesterday. Between your video and in my industry, this summer, this is the summer of 2013 as I'm talking about this. This summer in my field, I'm a mechanic. At the dealership level, they're predicting this is going to be the least productive summer that we've ever had because nobody purchased a vehicle in 2009. That was the time when the economy was at an all-time low. Lending was at an all-time low. You'd be hard-pressed to get anybody to loan you money in 2009 because all the banks were keeping their money. They weren't sure what was going to happen. Any bank that had it left, the quantitative whatever it was that the Federal Reserve was doing wasn't quite working yet. Nobody knew what was going on. We had a president that was talking communist stuff, and you had automotive manufacturers looking like they're going out of business. That was 2009. 2009 was the year I bought my Silverado. So there you go, man. Let me know. Let me know what you think about this video. It went a little long, but I'm not ashamed. My boy, poor Corey, he was having trouble making good videos. Hopefully I managed with this one. If not, I'll try it again next time, right? All right, man. I hope everybody's well. Lyrics, you take care of them babies, all right? And I like your music videos, and you seem like a cool dude. Definitely seem like a cool dude to hang out with. And let me know if there's anything I could do for you. I'm here. I don't plan on going anywhere. And yeah, see y'all later.